Meghan's As Ever products are finally out. We finally know what they are. I've got a little list here, and I'll read through some of them and see what you think. We've got some raspberry spread in keepsake packaging. That's $14 US. Herbal lemon ginger tea for $12 US. Flour sprinkles you can get for $15. Okay. Shortbread cookie mix with flour sprinkles included, $14. Are we excited about Meghan's As Ever brand merchandise actually now hitting? Well, we can now actually buy it.
Where's it all made? Is it made in some factory in Minnesota or something?
I've been trying to find out.
Well, this is it. Where's it?
Well, the whole reason for the name change was because she knew she couldn't produce it in Montecito, and that was a legal thing. So clearly, it's definitely not going to be made in the orchards
haven't we seen her in a beekeeping outfit? Don't they make their own honey? Perhaps they could, produce that. I don't know, but I think we'll probably find out at some later date that this is all made in some as I say, some factory associated with a normal supermarket or something. I don't know,
I am trying, Phil.
You are.
Okay, we have been trying for many weeks, and if anyone knows where the factories are, please tell me.
Well, you are quite jammy in life, so you should be able to find out.
I don't know what world she thinks she's living in right now if she hasn't stepped foot outside the sort of gates of Montecito to understand that I don't know if your average American is going to be dishing out $14 for a pot of jam, or it's not really jam, it's a strawberry preserve, of course. But I think the whole lineup is really, really out of touch. No one's paying £12 or $12 for some tea. I looked at the royal family. They sell their own strawberry preserve. They sell that for £3. I think that's
expensive.
But it's a little bit more accessible. I think I don't know how this rollout's going to go. I don't know if we're going to see sold out stickers on things, because
I think you will see sold out stickers on them, because that would be, if I was marketing something, I would not make many products. So I think you'll get sold out stickers because they haven't made many, and they'll say, "Oh, we sold out." But that's me maybe just being a little bit contrary.
No, I think you're right. I mean, with her original jam rollout, it was one of 50 that she was giving to her friends. I think it is going to be this exclusive type of range, and I'm sure they've kept the numbers small just to make sure that they don't.
Well, maybe I'm just a cynic. But the one thing that does jump out on this, it seems important to me, is that the products have been made in partnership with Netflix Consumer Product Group. So Netflix are really, really involved in Meghan and As Ever, probably far deeper than we realised. Like the actual making of the products, the developing of the products, the creation of the products is not just Meghan sitting there in her kitchen. It appears that Netflix have a division that has been getting stuck in, so to the phrase, into making and working out these products. What do you think that means?
Means they want to get some of their money back, I think. Having invested $100 million or whatever it is in the shows that they did, and the thing about Polo, which was university panned. I don't know how that did commercially, but no, I mean, they've obviously made a decision. They're going to stick with them for the time being. They're going to go for it, and they're getting in for a penny, in for a pound. And if they can get some money back with the merchandising, great. But I didn't realise they had this arm of merchandise. But
to be fair, Meghan is trying to reposition herself away from royal drama and into a Gwyneth Paltrow-style lifestyle guru. But according to Dampier, it's not working. Why? Because it feels out of touch, self-indulgent, and completely disconnected from the serious media work she promised. No one asked for Sussex-branded marmalade. They asked for content. And Netflix is still holding the receipt. Royal commentator Phil Dampier isn't holding back. He says Meghan Markle's latest venture into jam making is completely out of touch. After signing a £100 million deal with Netflix,
you can understand them, say if they're going to stick by them, they've got to do it, got to go the full hold.
Yeah. Well, Netflix also make, they make kind of products for some of their other shows as well. And they have shops as well, Netflix. But for me, it just shows that Netflix have really bought into Meghan.
Well, I mean, her sheer fakery when she sort of announced the cobbled together collaboration of her and Netflix. We know that that was a last minute decision, and I totally agree with you, Phil. I think that she was definitely they're trying to get some of that $100 million that they've ploughed into this disaster back. They know that, I think with their help, she'll be able to actually get some products out there, because I know that they were also having trouble even with production. So yeah, I think they're going to put these jams and whatever comes after that, tea towels, cloths, into the store. and try and recoil some of the funds that they've got back. That's what it's about. It's not this like amazing collaboration that's going to create a dynastical fortune for them. It's just them groveling.
The clothes range, is that Netflix or is that something else? Is that something separate, the clothes she's coming out with?
The clothes is just another scramble for money. I mean, those aren't her clothes. She's just making a small commission off the sales of them. So it's just a sort of another ploy at her wanting to become a billionaire. And also saving and solving world hunger at the same time. I don't know how that works, but you know.
Yes, you can do both.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they tell us.
Right, guys, deep breath. We've just got time for our quick fire questions.
Quick fire question.
Okay, ready? Who has been or is the best royal mother?
Well, I think Diana was a superb mother, and that's what makes it so terribly sad, what's happened between William and Harry. I like to think if she was still alive, she would have banged their heads together and sorted it out. But I think at the time she was a very good mother, considering the difficulties in her marriage. She certainly showed them the other side of life, and they didn't grow up, you know, living in an ivory tower when she used to say to the homeless, etc. So I think she was a good mother. And the late Queen always used to say, funnily enough, that the Duchess of York was a very good mother. And I think the way you've seen Beatrice and Eugenie turn out, I think that's probably true. I mean, I'm not a great fan of the Duchess of York, but I don't think you can take it away from her that she was a good mother.
Two strong contenders, Samara.
I think Princess Anne, I mean, she did a great job of giving her children a normal life somewhat, not giving them titles, not giving them all the embellishments that come with royal life. And I just think that she's one of those people that reminds me so much of the Queen more and more and more as she gets older. And I love that stoicism that she instilled in both of them. She let them actually just have their peace and have a normal sort of existence, sort of.
Excellent. What is the best charity work a royal has achieved?
I've got to say the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip's Duke of Edinburgh Award, only because selfishly I participated in it at school and I just loved it so much. And it was one of those times when you're a ratty teenager.
Expectations were sky high. Instead, we're getting jars of homemade jam and vague lifestyle branding. Netflix didn't sign a duchess for preserves. They signed a global name for content. The Sussex brand once had global curiosity. Now it has brand fatigue. Phil Dampier warns that unless Meghan and Harry pivot fast, they risk becoming a luxury lifestyle punchline. Netflix expected a royal power couple to deliver stories, ratings, and impact. Instead, they got jam jars and dwindling relevance. And at this point, even the streaming giant may want its £100 million back. With global financial struggles, royal tensions, and ongoing criticism of their lavish lifestyle,
and you're sort of like, the world is against me. And it forced me to go out into nature, do camping, do swimming in Australia. And I got my gold Duke of Edinburgh and I was very proud of it. And I think he knew what he was doing there. He knew that it's a boisterous time for teens and it's just good to get back into nature. So very smart of him. And
also the work he did with the World Wildlife Fund. You know, he very much passed on, we go on about King Charles as he now is, and conservation and William with his Earthshot Prize. But Prince Philip was doing all this, decades ago and blazed a trail. Much as I'm not a fan of Harry, I have to say I think in Invictus Games you can't take that away from him. You won't find anyone, competitors or families or anyone else involved with the Invictus Games ever have a bad word for him. And I think that's the one thing that he can really look at and say that be proud of that achievement. But as I said earlier on, it's a different ball game today. They do tend to concentrate on one or two charities, particularly William and Kate. They're concentrating on a couple of, a few core things. Whereas the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh in the old days used to have, as I say, 1,500 patronages between them. Maybe spread themselves a bit too thin sometimes. But so it's I think the Invictus Games is one thing he can be proud of.
It's a really good point. I mean, that the Invictus Games situation also makes it even more sad, as you pointed out earlier about Centre Bali, that there are actually children in Lesotho that needed this money and needed this charity rather than the bickering.
And funding's now completely depleted, by the way, in the last couple of days from that. So he probably should have thought about that before he decided to drag that charity through the mud. But yeah.
Right, final question. Meghan's As Ever jam and crepe mix products are out this week, but what royal would you want to make you breakfast?
Ooh, I've got to say Princess Margaret, because she famously had her breakfast in bed, 9 o'clock. That's how I want it, 9 a.m. with the papers, listening to the radio, and then followed by a shot of vodka. So that's probably what I would do, I will want for myself.
Well, in an ideal world, I'd have breakfast with Morgan and Wise. But if it's got to be a royal, I think it's the king. Wasn't there? I think it was a book by Jeremy Paxman, wasn't it, where he claimed that he had 6 boiled eggs lined up, all different runniness, and depending on what mood he's in, he'd chop off the top of one of those. So, I mean, that would be a fascinating. I think it was later debunked, but I mean, I'd love to be at breakfast with the king because he is a bit fussy and. He likes all of his sort of organic food. And,
barely eats, though. That's the problem.
He likes all the muesli and stuff like that, doesn't he? To the point where I think they have it all laid out at Sandringham. And there was a guest once, and William saw somebody going, "Don't go over there. That's the bird table." Yeah. And so I think breakfast with the king would be fascinating.
Yeah, both good answers. Thank you very much.
Meghan launching a bespoke luxury jam brand feels tone deaf at best. Phil Dampier argues this move shows how deeply disconnected the Sussexes are from public sentiment. People aren't asking for jam. They're asking for substance, accountability, and results. Let's not forget, Netflix gave Harry and Meghan one of the most lucrative deals in streaming history. They promised documentaries, scripted shows, inspiring content. What have they delivered so far? One controversial docuseries, a podcast that fizzled, and now jam? Phil Dampier says it bluntly, Netflix wants its money's worth and fast.